Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, doneforyoujournals.com, where I share tips and tools to help you make passive income, creating your own custom journals, workbooks, and the eventual your bucket list book that you can self-publish on Amazon. Today on the show, I have Valerie Huard. I met her at the Fearless Women Summit last April, where she was a speaker. When I first met her, when she was putting her books out, I was like, I don't need that. I don't have any clutter and PTSD. However, when she was on stage, I went, oh boy, I have clutter and I think I might have some PTSD. So I said to myself, I'm like, oh my God, I have to have her on my show. So I asked her and she said yes, and I am gracious, Valerie, that you decided. So Valerie has written a book, a great book. I read it and I can't find it because I've got a little bit of clutter around. I know it's in here, but it's called Put That Stuff Down. And it's a great book. If you get the chance, we're going to tell you where to get it at the end of this interview. But I would really appreciate it if you stuck around, paid attention, and listened to what she had to say. So welcome, Valerie. Let's start out by first telling us a little bit about yourself, your life, and your business.
Okay, that's a big question. So, who I am, basically, I'm a trauma-informed decluttering expert. I'm an author, a speaker, as you already said. And I have a business that is called Do Well, that I co-funded with my husband, JM. And we will celebrate our 10th year anniversary of the business this year. So that's in a nutshell.
It's amazing. Do you have your book with you to show people what the actual cover looks like?
I have the updated version of the book that it's Put That Stuff Down. So the one you had was all white with a Band-Aid on it. That was our original copy, but that we published in 2018. But this version that I just showed is our second edition of the same book. So because we have sold over 30,000 copies of the first book, we then decided to do a second edition where we added a little bit of material in it. And we rebranded the cover as well.
Yeah. So if the first book was that good, the second one, I can imagine, will even be better. So what I liked about your book too was it was very easy to read. It wasn't that big and you could do it almost anywhere. And it wasn't to a point where you felt bad about yourself or that things made you uncomfortable. These were actually what I found interesting too, is conversations that you could have with people and sort of open the door to this. So how did your business come about? What is your business about first? What is it as a whole? Do Well.
So Do Well is a trauma-informed decluttering business. Basically, when we started, I was doing home staging inside the home of people. But I first realized pretty fast that people don't have difficulty putting a pillow here and there, or a blanket, or remove some frame. The difficulty resides in decluttering. So I decided to become a professional organizer to be able to help people better with decluttering, to only realize that almost all of my clients were opening themselves about their trauma. And my own decluttering has helped solve my trauma. So then I went in a journey of talking with neurosurgeons, neuroscientists, psychiatrists, lots of different professionals, and to really put the link between clutter and trauma. And from there, we developed a method that is a 4-step process. And at the beginning, the steps were not in the same order as they are right now. But clutter was doing like a pendulum. You let go of it, it come back. You let go of it, it come back. But with the Do Well method, that's how we name our 4-step process. The thing is, when you let go of clutter, you're able to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
So the clutter is not coming back anymore.
I know what you mean about that when you said it's a pendulum, because at one point you see, so It looked all nice and pretty at the top, and then I started shoving things back at the bottom. I'm like, no, I did it again. So I got to go back to reading the book about the parts and the smart specific task. That I found like yeah, I think it starts with smart. So
Yeah.
I can't remember it again.
Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant to your
And time bound.
purpose, and time bound.
Yes. I found that very helpful and to reduce the size of the clutter down to smaller chunks and not try to do everything in one day. So I think, I'm
Yes,
not sure, I think
that's
you may have had it in the book too, is put a timer and do it. Or somebody may have given me that, is I put a timer for even 5 minutes. I do it 30 minutes and then I got sidetracked. I'm like, oh, shiny object, oh, my email, oh, my cell phone. So I took it all out and I'm like, nope, I have 30 minutes and I'm going to declutter one section and then that's it and be proud and relax. So your book is really good.
correct.
I found it really helpful, but it also got me thinking about writing a book. And this part, when people are writing a book or creating planners or writing in like gratitude journals, their mind is so chaotic. So what I wanted to know was what step did you first take to write your book?
So for us, we went with the publisher first,
Mhm.
and that publisher was having a training on how to write a book.
I think I saw him, his Jerry
Jerry
something.
Roberts.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think we actually met at one of his events in Ottawa years ago.
that's totally possible, or in
Yeah,
Montreal. That's possible.
okay. Because
So
he
I went to one
has,
of his events.
mhm,
Unfortunately, he sold the publishing company at some point. The publisher did bankruptcy, and now he's restarting something. But
mhm,
in all of that, that allow us to take back the full control of our book,
okay.
and that I love.
Yes, when you get to make the decisions and what happens, I found that's what I loved about Amazon is that I could change the interior and the cover anytime. So are you doing
Yes,
self-publishing or are you still using a
I'm
publishing
doing
company?
self-publishing now.
Okay, and are you doing it through Amazon or are you doing it through Lulu or one of the other suppliers? Or all of
Other
them?
suppliers,
Okay.
other suppliers. And I do it that way because I can be in touch with the people that purchase the book. When you
Mhm.
sell on Amazon, if you don't put a QR code or a lead magnet inside your book, you won't have them come to you. And even if you put that in your book, we we have some QR code and things like that in our book, and we observe that they are less than 5% of the people that will use them.
Did you,
So
so do you think that it's better to do well, obviously maybe not the QR code, but what other avenue do you think would be better? The email or
for
inviting them
me,
to
I
some?
prefer to sell directly to the client. So I have their email right away
Okay.
and I can offer them help.
Mhm.
Because don't
Good.
forget, the subject that I'm talking about is too taboo: the taboo of clutter and the taboo of trauma.
Mhm.
So people are not or do not have the tendency to come forward and say, hey, help me, I have this,
Yep. 100%.
versus if they get onto my email list, then I can educate them progressively and encourage them. And then at some point when they're ready, they can start a conversation with us.
Awesome. Okay. Were there
So,
any areas where you struggled when writing your book?
yes and no. Because I co author with JM, it's like when I struggle, he was on a flow. And when he struggled, I was on a flow.
Okay.
So that really make us a nice collaboration. And by the date we decided to do a book, we're in September 2017, and we received a printed book in August 2018.
That's a long time.
What?
That's a long time.
It
Did it
is
take you
done.
so for you, do you find that that was your whole writing process, like from September to October or August, or
No,
was that?
because when you decide to write a book, then you think about the title and then
Yeah.
eventually the table of content and eventually what will be in the chapter. And then there's the editing process. The
Yes. The
editing process,
editing
when you
takes the
send it to,
longest.
it takes 3 weeks. And then when it comes back to you, you need to reread it and approve each little change.
Hmm.
And then after that, it go back a second time to the editor to be final. And
Yeah.
then it comes back, it needs to go to layout. And when they are printed like on big press, that takes another 30 days.
Okay. So
So
by
when
doing
you
it with
look at
a
all of
self-publishing,
that,
but publishing company takes a little longer.
yes,
Okay.
like the thing is, remember that in 2018, we didn't have AI.
Yes.
Right now, we can write a book pretty fast and pass it in AI for the grammar and the editing to be complete. And it goes pretty fast. Like there's a book that we're about to publish soon that it takes us less than 30 days from start to end. And when I say end, it's ready to print.
See, that's much faster. So when I had written my first book, Turn Your Cottage into Profit, I agree with the editing part. I had somebody who was an English teacher, and it took me 52 revisions because I didn't agree with what she was saying, and I felt like
Yeah.
my personality was being taken out. So then I said to myself, no, done is better than perfect, and this is me. This is how I want my book to be. So I
Yeah.
agree with you there. It does take longer when you're writing a book versus creating journals or workbook planners. But even me right now, I'm trying to create a custom planner for somebody who has a full-time job and works part-time on their business and still have a life. Because you're trying
Yeah.
to compile everything you want in there that meets your needs. But also, when you're writing a book or this planner, you have to think of the audience.
Correct.
So when you wrote your book, I'm assuming you were writing it for an audience. It was
Correct.
for you to use all the skills and tools that you had, but it was for that audience.
Correct.
Okay.
That one.
Okay. So you said it took a year. Okay. How did you manage to stay on track? Was it because of jam?
For us, it was posted.
We didn't
So
use
the
posted.
minute we did posted technique, yeah. So the minute we decided to write the book and we did our table of content, if there's 8 chapter in my book, I put 8 post-it with each title of the chapter.
Yeah.
And then I decided, okay, in that chapter, it will be divided in A, B, C, D, E. I will do those 5 post-it, A, B, C, D, E, put in a line next to my first post-it for my chapter 1,
So
and
you did
so
it.
on.
You did you break it down even smaller? So when you say the chapter and then the A, B, C, D, E, and did you break it so okay, this day I'm going to work on A, the next day B, and
I break it down A, B, C, D, E. For example, it can be 10 section
yeah,
depending of the chapter. But then we started with the first one, and the minute one is done, check mark on the
okay.
post-it, a star, a art, a celebration, whatever which one it is.
Okay.
But that makes a difference.
You did not go and start giving these chapters to the publisher, right? Or the editor? Did you wait or did you do it right away every time one was done?
No, they ask it to give it at the end.
Okay, good. Because some of them are doing it's like, well, I want it cleaned up so that it's ready at the end. It's like, no, your mind, your process, your thought thinking could change and you could add more or take out.
Correct.
That's good. Okay, so post-it is important. I like this one. I had, for me, what I would do is write it on a piece of paper and then check it. But I started to do this in my calendar on the side here, is put it and then I'm like, yeah, okay, take it off or woohoo, because
Yeah,
I can check. I love check marks. Like, oh, when it's done, it's
yeah.
awesome. Okay. So what is your goal for your book?
What is our goal? Our goal is to help as many people as we can.
Do
So
you have a number?
right now, we know that we have helped more than 5 million people.
5 million?
Yes. And I will
Wow,
tell you
that's
why.
amazing.
we sold only, let's say, 40,000 copies of the book. But the people we impacted have talked about the book to other people. Like right now you're doing, we impacted you and all the viewers like you saw. But there's one of the person that read her first book that was so impacted that she did a video on YouTube, and that video impacted 4 million people. Just that video.
Do you have the name? Do you want to share that name of that video so that other people can see it as well?
I prefer that you go on our YouTube channel.
Yes. So at the end, you will send me the link to, or we'll discuss it. Give me the link to the YouTube, and I'll gladly go and post that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but when we look at that, all the people that came on our YouTube channel, all the people that read the book, all the people that came into our program, and all the people that were impacted by people that we impacted. For example, I can have one person in my program, but if her family situation got better because there's less fight about the clutter, her relationship get better with her husband or with her kids and things like that, or grandkids, make a huge difference. So
like that. It's important to know that your book is not just that, it's spreading the message and spreading the word to make people's lives much better. And I can tell you, like, I've told people about the book, but I've told them about you and the speaking and how you impacted me while just listening to you. And I was like, oh my God, you don't think that you have these issues or these concerns, but you really do, because it's not talked about. And now it's just finally started and you come out of the cupboard with a closet.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. Okay. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I have a few more questions. So what advice would you give someone trying to write a book or create a book or declutter their house or their space? Like, let's start with the one. What would be the first advice you would give to somebody to declutter?
To declutter?
Yes.
It will be to start by decluttering the stress.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is often when people accumulate clutter as in their physical space, it's because their level of cortisol, the stress hormone, is too high. And that's often after somebody had trauma in their life. So as long as the cortisol is high, it's impacting the frontal lobe of the brain, where are the executive function. What I mean by executive function are the abilities to plan, to organize, to sort, to make decision, what we call working memory. You know, when you get in a room and what was I coming to grab here? And also focus. So if these are slowed down by the cortisol, it's really, really hard to maintain a home tidy. It's really, really hard to do the decluttering. So even if you try to declutter, if these don't collaborate, it's a little bit like if you have a car that you want to push, okay? And then you put the brake on the car. Trying to push that car, you won't be able to do it. So the brake is the cortisol.
Okay.
So the cortisol puts that brake on you, trying to push, trying to do your decluttering.
Mm-hmm. So to declutter the stress, reduce the amount of stress that you have.
Reduce the stress first. Yes,
okay.
That's really the most important thing. Okay. Eventually will come the step of decluttering the physical possession. But first, we need to be able to let go of the stress. Otherwise, not working, it will just come back.
Yep. Living proof. Okay, so what advice would you give somebody who's trying to write a book and it's like there's so much in their head?
Write it down first, and I love the post-it. So write it down, all idea on post-it, and then you can use a whiteboard or a wall or the back of a door, and then you can start moving them and grouping them. And that will be able to give your chapter eventually.
It'll also give your mind a break instead of trying to hold everything in there. That's what I
Yes,
found is like when I was thinking about the post-its, I'm like, oh yeah. And when I put it out there now, I could just take it out. Versus when you keep having it on mine is like a to-do list. Every time I see that checklist, I still manage mentally to go and check on that line when it should be out of sight, out of
correct.
mind. So I like that.
Yes.
So I'm going to keep that. Okay, so where can people reach you if they're seeking help or buy the book or any questions they may have? How do you
The
recommend they get in touch with
easiest
you?
way is on our website,
Okay,
dowellht.com,
so
Dowell,
DOWELL.
the letter H and T, T like transformation, ht.com. And if they want, there's a little bubble in the corner of the website. If they start chatting with that bubble, it's a real human that answers them.
Oh, the little chat helps.
The little
Okay.
chat helps, yeah. And from there, we can answer their question and we can help. If they want to go for the book, there's a tab for the books, the product, the program in the books.
And your
So the
programs are on
website
there.
is really a good place.
Okay. And is your YouTube channel listed on your website, or do you want to give that?
I will give it to right now. It's
Okay.
post-trauma,
POST.
secrets, and decluttering. Yeah, POST, trauma, secrets, and decluttering.
So I will add all those details to the video. I have to say, I have enjoyed your speech. I enjoyed your book, and I really appreciate you taking the time to allow me to interview you.
Thank,
If there's anything else you need, don't hesitate to ask me. I will gladly spread the word about you and about your services, and meeting you one-on-one in person was even better. So thank you, Valerie. I truly appreciate it, and I will send you the link as well.
thank you so much.
Okay. Have a wonderful day.
You as well.
Bye-bye. This is Tina from dauntingforyourjournals.com. If you have any questions, email me at info@dauntingforyourjournals.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.